We got a new CEO and 50% of our members quit. We didn't know how we would survive.
Is your organization going through a myriad of changes? Downsizing, right-sizing, upsizing?
No one in our office smiled. I felt like I worked in a funeral home.
Do your people need a big humorizing zing?
I didn't understand why I couldn't reach my people.
Is your next meeting on the verge of being boring, a washout, a bust? Then send out the signal. This mild-mannered radio host from Birmingham, Alabama, sheds his microphone and headset to become Kurt Kilpatrick, the man with many faces. He brings you substance, style, and sizzle.
People always ask me, they say, well, I understand you're an attorney, why don't you practice law? Well, I decided a long time ago it's a lot more fun to make people laugh than it is to sue them. But I did practice for 6 hours. Over in Mississippi, had 2 cases. One of them was a wills case. I was waiting my turn there in court. You know how that happens. The judge comes in, everybody stands up, he sits down. About that time, a lady ran into the courtroom. She said, I want to see the reprobate judge. The judge says, Madam, I'm the probate judge. She said, you'll do. He said, how can I help you? She said, my husband died untestimonial and left no infidels. The judge says, you mean he died intestate and left no codicils? She said, yeah, and I want to be the executioner. I did have one other case, though, criminal case, charged with defending this gentleman, 75 years old, claimed he had seen what had happened 300 yards away at the scene of the crime at midnight. The prosecutor had him up on the stand and said, sir, how can you sit up there in this courtroom and tell us you saw what happened 300 yards away in the middle of the night? Just how far can you see at night? My client said, well, I can see the moon. How far is that?
Before we sent out the signal for Kurt Kilpatrick, our people were miserable. Kurt Kilpatrick saved our company. Our employee and customer satisfaction are at an all-time high, and our profits are up 400%. Thank you, Kurt.
This is Walter Cronkite, formerly with CBS Evening News. Good evening. News now from the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus. Armando Garbanzo, of the famous flying Garbanzo Cannonball family, apparently went berserk at the circus last night and began firing his relatives into the crowd. He finally took his own life with a loaded nephew. Finally, this merger item, the Mafia, says it will soon merge with the gay liberation movement. It will still have the kiss of death, but it will now include dinner and dancing.
Kurt Kilpatrick does his homework. He gets to know your people well. He makes it personal.
And I tell you, that Tim Tucker, he's a bird, isn't he? I was talking to his wife, Sharon, and I said, Sharon, what is the secret of your successful marriage to Tim? She said, well, it's easy when you're both in love with the same man.
What touched me and made me think, wow, my people really needed to hear Kurt Kilpatrick, the man with many faces. When I saw him impersonate our former presidents, he really touched me so deeply. He got me right here. I'm sorry, we really need to stop this tape.
This is Jimmy Carter. Thank y'all very much. You may have seen me up at the White House talking to Bill Clinton. I remember as I walked away from the White House, I flashed Bill the victory sign and he returned a portion of it.
My fellow Americans, please read Herb Henderson's new book. It's called How to Be Your Own Best Friend. Chapter 1 is how to pick yourself up at the airport. And of course, our most recent former president.
My name is George Bush. I never said no new taxes. I said no nude Texans.
And of course, with love and respect, we do this next gentleman.
Well, my fellow Americans,
Got any Bill Clinton fans out there today? Just you, ma'am? Just kidding, of course. I really would like to do Bill Clinton's voice for you, but it's very difficult talking out of both sides of your mouth at the same time.
Kurt Kilpatrick is dedicated to livening up your next meeting, as he has for dozens of organizations. He tries hard to earn your respect.
Talking to Bill Smallwood, now he is a piece of work, isn't he? He said, a lot of times, I've been in this business a long time, a lot of times I don't get no respect. I feel like Rodney Dangerfield, you know, I'm telling you. He said, hey Rodney, is that your face, or did you block a kick? Bill and I go to the drugstore. He goes up to the clerk. He says, I need some talcum powder. The clerk said, walk this way. Bill said, if I could walk that way, I wouldn't need talcum powder.
When Kurt Kilpatrick came to our meeting as the senator, it was one of the most moving parts of our meeting. People came up to me afterwards and thanked me for saving their jobs, their careers, their families. It was beautiful.
What does the term honoraria mean?
Well, now correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor, but the term honoraria is a Greek word, and it means, here, take this bribe. Just kidding, of course.
Marijuana's been a real problem everywhere. Do you think Congress will ever legalize marijuana?
Well, only if we have a joint session. I don't believe we're going to do that, not with the strong anti-drug programs you have in Sumter. Young man, how are you? That's a nice shade. You get that at the pro shop? Looking good. You're welcome. How you doing?
We're all concerned about the environment. You said that you always had your doubts about Exxon's ability to clean up that massive Alaskan oil spill. Is that true?
I certainly have. Have you ever seen their restroom?
Kurt Kilpatrick helps you take the ups and downs of business and life lightly, so your organization can focus on what's important.
Competitive environment, that's where you work. Change is every day. Let's get used to change. Let's eat change for breakfast. It's going to happen. We might as well be ready for it. And you can do that from the inside out, because I think that's where quality, that's where our attitude begins. It begins on the inside. When you decide to make a decision on what kind of attitude you're going to have about who you are, where you are, and what you do for a living and what you contribute.
Send the signal now for Kurt Kilpatrick, the man with many faces. To bring substance, style, and sizzle to your people, contact the provider of this video.